I'm sorry, the Jets almost did what? We get into it, baby. Wow. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Suey Mama! Oh yeah, we're getting into it. Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jet digital reporter for Heavy.com. Make sure you guys pound the like button. Also hit subscribe down below. And while you're down below, you're going to want to pull this up. And I know I say that all the time, but this one in particular, I'm going to walk you through what the Jets nearly pulled off. And as Zach Rosenblatt noted, it flew completely under the radar. Okay, let's try to bring you guys fully up to speed. So you guys remember that whole Sauce Asante Samuel weird thing? I think we'd all like to forget that ever happened. But nonetheless, in the middle of all that hoopla, Sauce Gardner created a Twitter space so he could kind of get all his thoughts out on the matter. Apparently, Twitter, just shooting out tweets, wasn't enough. And while he was hosting a Twitter space, a bunch of other NFL players jumped on with him. Darius Slay, DJ Reed, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. A lot of people jumped on his corner, a lot of corners, rather, and defenders were hopping on to kind of fully vet out the Asante Samuel Sauce thing. But in the middle of all that, there was a couple of intriguing nuggets dropped, and let's dive right into it. Sauce and DJ Reed confirmed during this Twitter space that they both, as a unit, tried to recruit Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to the Jets. And at one point, Sauce even said he was about to be a Jet, referencing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Now, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was just with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. The Saints traded him to the Eagles, has a career year, 6 picks, looks phenomenal. The Eagles go all the way to the Super Bowl. Ultimately, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signs with the Detroit Lions on a deal a lot of us are still scratching our head about because he had so much production. How did he only get $6.5 million? And on a one-year deal, no less, a lot of us thought he'd be among the highest paid players in free agency. But that's a different, boat. A couple days later, he ended up signing with the Lions on March 20th. So, okay, the Jets were recruiting, and specifically the players, Sauce and DJ both confirmed that they were recruiting Chauncey to come to the Jets, and Sauce said it was like this close to happening. Chauncey jumps on the Twitter space, confirms he was being recruited to the Jets, but also drops another even juicier nugget. So not only was Chauncey Gardner almost to the Jets, which, by the way, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but by the way, would have been the perfect missing piece to this defense. The Jets struggled in creating takeaways last year. They had the 4th lowest amount in the entire NFL last season. They started off really hot, but then they kind of crashed and burned through the rest of the way. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is this ball-hawking freak. He would have been the perfect complement in this as that center fielder ball hawking safety to what the Jets have at corner. So that would have been great. But on top of that, here's another juicy nugget. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson reveals on the, Twitter space that he and Darius Slay almost both came to the Jets as a package deal. Remember, they were teammates on the Eagles last year. Also, another note to make, Darius Slay was supposed to get cut by the Eagles. They were trying to trade his ass. They couldn't trade him, so we're going to cut him. So much so that Darius Slay sent out a tweet saying, "Farewell, Philadelphia. See you later. Bye. Adios." And all of a sudden, since he was set to become a free agent, Darius Slay and his agent, as anyone would do, start to explore potentially where they could go. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson said Darius Slay told him. It's like he said, she said, A to Z. Try to keep up here, folks. That's why I said read the article. It kind of helps line it up more appropriately. But that Darius Slay said to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, let's go to New York together as a package. Like he said, hey, man, let's go to the Jets. Now, I don't know how all that would have worked because you have Sauce, you have DJ Reed and Michael Carter II. they're perhaps the best triplet of corners in the entire NFL with Darius Slay, who, by the way, is super proven. Everyone big play Slay. I mean, he's an all-pro, a 5-time Pro Bowler. Like, his resume speaks for itself. I'm not exactly sure how he would have fit into the Jets cornerback room. Now, maybe he's been in the league a long time, 11 plus years, and he hasn't gotten a Super Bowl ring. He got really close last year. Maybe he would have come to the Jets to have a chance at a Super Bowl ring, maybe. I guess it's a third or fourth corner. That seems kind of weird. In Madden, it sounds great. Have as many talented players as you want. You don't have to deal with the personalities. But, that one seems kind of weird. Although Darius Slay during this Twitter space did talk about how he knew Sauce Gardner since he was a little kid. So they had a really good relationship. So maybe that could have fed into it. But man, the Jets apparently were this close to pulling off the free agency heist of the century. Bringing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson would have been a great fit in the secondary. And then you bring in Darius Slay as even more depth and star power to this cornerback room. We already think this Jets defense could be one of the best in the NFL. They were one of the best in the NFL last year. And then potentially adding Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Darius Slay, what could have been. Of course, none of that happens. Chauncey Gardner, again, signs that 1 year, $6.5 million deal with the Lions. The Eagles, they said, we're cutting your ass. They were like, psych, just kidding. We'll give you a brand new deal. They give him a brand new 3-year deal. He stays in Eagles land. But the Jets were this close. And I always love hearing these stories. I know some of you may get to the end of this and said, you bastard. Now you just kind of teased me for something that never happened. And perhaps. But to me, I'm always intrigued by the NFL. What coulda, shoulda, woulda happened. And in addition, as we wrap up this video, again, make sure you guys are checking out the article down below. Feel free to share your thoughts in the article comment section. We're going to be doing some more Jet giveaways and engaging content, which is a cool, fun thing for you guys to do. Also, you could be entered for some Jets giveaways. So feel free to get involved in the heavy.com article down below in the link. But in addition to that, I think it raises a question, though. Who the hell is playing free safety for the Jets? Jordan Whitehead? Adrian Amos? Tony Adams? I mean, I don't know. This is a rhetorical. This is not a rhetorical question. This is throwing it out into the universe. Who is going to step up? Because, even Chuck Clark, who's injured and out for the year, man, I don't know who that guy is. Again, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson would have been perfect, but he's on the Lions. He ain't coming, baby. So the Jets are going to have to figure out an answer to that question. Rivka from Jets X Factor called it the murkiest, question remaining for the Jets heading into training camp, and it will be interesting. Tony Adams is unproven, but there's some glimpses of maybe. And then Jordan Whitehead, who's the box guy. And then Amos came into the league as a free safety guy, but he's kind of bounced around. So it'll be kind of fascinating to see who seizes the day, which that question was raised with the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson news. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Drop them in the article down below. Make sure you check out the article below. Hopefully that clears up some of it. I tried to keep it all on track for this video. And there's tweets down there and info and intel and all this stuff. It is very, very juicy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, to this show. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Make sure you tune in every day for Boy Green Daily live at 7:30 in the morning. We got a superstar guest list, and we talk Jets every day. Thanks, everybody.